Hey guys, it's Maddie. Welcome back to my channel. Sorry, I'm in my work uniform because I'm about to go to work, but I wanted to film a quick little video, and today I'm going to be talking about the Sise Inn Hotel, which is supposedly haunted. So if you want to see what this hotel is about, then just continue watching. Okay, so the Sise Inn is found in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. It's in like a little New England town, which is 15 miles away of the Mass state line and about like 60 miles north of Boston off of Route 95. It's an 1881 Queen Anne style mansion, but it turned into an inn. It has 3 stories, a ground floor, plus a bright atrium that was part of the contemporary addition that was added on by the owners of the house when the old mansion was renovated and made into an inn in 1986. The inside of the Sise Inn features beautiful wood wall paneling, a Victorian kind of atmosphere, complete with a lovely antique furniture that fills every room and complements the modern touches added, like a brass elevator door. So this 1881 mansion was originally built by a wealthy businessman named John Sise for himself and his family. It was a continuous use as a private residence until the mid-1930s, when it began to be used for business and professional services. The mansion itself served as business offices, a doctor's suite of offices, a beauty parlor, a fashion shop, apartments, and a halfway house for mental patients. So now I want to talk about some of the manifestations. So the incidences reported in the Sise Inn was by guests, people who worked there, and a former mental patient. They suggest that a male and perhaps maybe a female entity are unseen guests in the inn. Suite 204 on the 3rd floor and the area around it seems to be the favorite haunt of 1 or 2 entities. They seem to enjoy playing with the ice machine, throwing ice, and have the compelling need to lock and unlock doors, much to the annoyance of the living. All rooms were securely locked when not being used by guests. On a night when there was no guests on the 3rd floor, the desk clerk heard the ice machine on the 3rd floor working. She went upstairs to investigate and found a trail of ice leading from the ice machine into the open door of the suite 204, where the remainder of the ice taken lay in a heap on the floor, with not a seen human presence anywhere near the 3rd floor. At 2 o'clock in the morning, guests in Suite 204 found their key wouldn't work in the lock. The experienced desk clerk couldn't open the door lock either. The manager had to come over but had no luck with the emergency key. Because all the rooms had been rented that night, a locksmith was called at 4 o'clock in the morning. Oddly, the locksmith had no trouble opening the room with the couple's original key when he tried it. Some entity wanted a private moment in the suite or was trying to lock some unknown person out of the room. The key to this suite 204 was constantly missing, unlike the other keys that occasionally were taken by mistake by the guests. This suite 204 was always mailed back to the Sise Inn. So now I want to talk about some occurrences that took place in other guest rooms throughout the Sise Inn. So the first one is a male entity likes to go up behind an unsuspecting maid cleaning up room and puts his hands gently on her hips. And then another one is one maid felt herself being pulled gently into a closet by an unseen male presence. Another one is various maids have walked through cold spots in rooms that have no physical explanation on why they're feeling cold, and find themselves having trouble with door locks that worked fine the last time they tried to unlock the same doors. Another one is one female guest, while lying on her bed, felt an unseen presence lay down next to her, pushing down the other side of the bed. Another one is an unnerved guest asked for a new room when the potted plant suddenly flew off the table in his old room. While he was reading, he had a noise, looked up, and saw this sight, which was the flying potted plant. The elevator is known to go up and down at will, with the door opening and closing by itself. A small rocker located next to the check-in desk has been noted to rock by itself with no one sitting in it. A clerk was startled to find the big, seldom used scissors that are kept under the desk lying on top of the desk after just a quick trip to the parlor, only a few feet away from the desk and within hearing distance. He would have heard if a living person had moved them. One afternoon, our peculiar, oh my God, peculiar, I think that's it. Peculiar man came into the inn and asked the clerk if the lady ghost was still there. Perhaps an entity had appeared to him during his stay at the halfway house. It is rumored that the butler of John Sise fell in love with a maid, but when their relationship went sour, he killed his maid and then hung himself in the room now known as Suite 204. There's no factual evidence that this ever happened, but people think this is what happened, and those are the ghosts there. A known murder happened 2 houses down from the Sise Inn way back in 1905. A man murdered his wife. Maybe the woman and or her murderous husband decided to move down to the Sise house, as entities have seemed to do in other instances. However, those kind of entities who die violently or violent deaths typically are in more pain and tend to lash out at the living or relive the circumstances of their death over and over again, unable to find peace without help from a medium, psychic, or a parapsychologist. It's possible that the woman entity could be trying to lock her murderous husband out of the room before he killed her, which could explain the door lock and key problems. However, there's no feelings of fear or rage picked up by the guests, and no screams for help have been heard. She just may feel Sise House is a safe haven and may not realize that she's dead. The male entity, however, seems to think of himself as a ladies' man and basically teases the living while enjoying the electrical toys, the elevator, and the ice machine. He may be locking the doors to ensure privacy with re-experiencing a previous amorous rendezvous. Whoever these entities are, they enjoy the Sise Inn, and the owner is willing to put up with their personal habits and preoccupation with ice, keys, and the locked doors, as no effort has been made to send them to the other side. While these entities can annoy the living, they don't generally try to scare anyone out of the inn, just want to get a little attention to let the living know that they are there. So I know it's a quick little video, but I just wanted to film it. I liked filming these kinds of videos. So if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what other stuff you want me to do, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.